Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today is going to be my temperature blanket update, but before we get started, I want to say a very special thank you to one of my subscribers who reached out to me after my Hobby Lobby video, I think it was last week, where I said I couldn't find a few of the yarns that I needed for my moss stitch blanket, and she was able to find them at her local store, and she sent them to me, and I'm so very thankful. So you know who you are, and thank you so much. Your generosity and kindness means more to me than you know, and hopefully my Hobby Lobby is not discontinuing the colors that I need. Hopefully they were just out of stock. I haven't been back since, but just in case, at least the few colors that she knew I needed, I should have, and hopefully will not need to buy any more of those specific colors. She got me 2 of the cinnamon cedar color, 2 of the sunset color, and 2 of the spring green color. So I have used these 3 colors the most out of all of them, and so yeah, I should be set on those colors hopefully for the rest of the year. So thank you, just thank you so much again. And real quick, I did want to mention I will also have another little happy mail video coming out here this week, and you'll definitely want to check that video out because I will be doing my first giveaway. I haven't done one yet on my channel. I've kind of been waiting for a good time, and because of a couple of amazing people that I've met through YouTube, I'm able to do that. So stay tuned. It will be coming out this week, and you don't want to miss it. All right, so first I'm going to show you my sampler blanket that I am doing following Tiffany Hanson's Crochet Along. My temperature blanket playlist, as well as Tiffany Hanson's video, will be linked in the description. So if you want to go back and catch up on my previous videos, or check out the crochet along, then that will be available to you. But I'm going to start with the sampler blanket. So I'm holding 2 strands together of plain old Red Heart Super Saver. Because I'm doing 2 blankets, I didn't want to spend a whole lot of money on this second one, so we went with the good old Red Heart Super Saver. But I haven't done an update on this blanket in a while because I did fall quite a bit behind. But I'm only doing 2 rows a week, so I'm doing the weekly average high and low, and that's been a lot of fun. I only chose 5 colors, so much different than my other temperature blanket, which you guys will see in a minute. But so real quick, the colors that I used this week, or well, this month, I pretty much had to catch up on all of March. I used the color Persimmon, Pale Yellow, and Light Jasmine. There's Pale Yellow, or Jasmine, Light Jasmine. And then we have Persimmon. And then we have the Pale Yellow. So those are the 3 colors I used on this blanket this week. And here is what the blanket is looking like. So we are doing a different stitch every month. Now I'm caught up all the way through this past week. I started on the weekly high, but I just didn't get that finished. So here is the blanket so far, and I'm really loving it. I'm really loving the different stitches we're using. So we did the crunch stitch and then the bead stitch, and now this is, I can't remember exactly what it's called, but it's like a shell stitch or a fan stitch, where you do 3 double crochets, skip 2, do a single, skip 2, 3 double crochets. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but I'm really loving the way that all these colors are looking together. Yeah, it's just a lot of fun to work on, and to be honest, I cannot stand Red Heart Super Saver. It just validated the fact that I just don't like it, but I'm sticking with it. It's just not soft at all. Now, like, a lot of us, when we first started crocheting, it was our go-to, and for a lot of people it may be the only yarn that's affordable to you, and you got to use what you can. but I think we get a little bit spoiled after we've used some much softer yarn, that once we go back to this, it's like, man, it's just so rough. But I have heard a lot of people say that once you wash it, it's much softer. So I'm hoping that that is the case. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I like how you can see each month clearly because of it being a sampler. So, you know, January here, and then February and March. So that's a lot of fun. And yeah, not much else to say about this one except I've enjoyed working on it. And it's going to be a heavy blanket because I'm holding 2 strands together. I probably should have just done a single strand, but the blanket that she is doing with 2 rows a week is 5 weight, and I couldn't really find a 5 weight yarn I wanted to use, and that's why I chose to hold 2 strands together. But I probably should have went with 1 strand. It's okay though, we'll just, it'll be like a weighted blanket. So quickly, I'm just gonna recap the temperatures of the different rows I've done over the last couple weeks. So we had the color persimmon for the weekly average running through March 4th. 68 degrees was that temperature. And then the weekly average low for that week was 46 degrees. So we used pale yellow. And then for the week of March 5th through the 11th, the weekly average high was 59 degrees, so pale yellow. And then the average low was 40 degrees, which is also pale yellow. And then the week of March 12th through the 18th, the average high was 49 degrees, pale yellow again, and the average low was 32 degrees, so we used light jasmine. And then the week of the 19th through the 25th, so this is the week I started the rows but didn't complete them, the average high was 58, so pale yellow, and the average low was 41, so pale yellow again, so both rows will be yellow. All right, so on to the moss stitch blanket. I have decided that I am going to do bi-weekly updates, so I was doing weekly updates, but I think it's just going to be better for me to do it every other week because I do have a lot of other projects going right now. It just works best for me to be able to dedicate like a full day to working on the temperature blanket and doing that update, and then that frees me up to work on some other things also. So it is looking beautiful. So we actually, just a little recap on our weather. We had an outrageously warm February for the most part in our area. I live in Kentucky. And in March, we did have some very nice weather, but we also had a few cold snaps as well. So not like cold. We did have a couple days in the 30s, but still pretty mild temperatures. So looking at my calendar here, which is so sloppy, I don't know if you can see that. The colors we used most, again, were sunset, cinnamon cedar, and spring green. We also used amber honey and the struggle is teal. Now, I did do an update up through March 12th, I believe, was the last day that I showed you. So this will be covering Monday the 13th of March through Monday the 27th. So a full 2 weeks. And over this last 2 weeks, still the same. Not as much sunset though. So sunset is that range in the 60s. So we did have 3 days of sunset, but it seemed like we were using that a whole lot more the previous 2 weeks. The color we used the most looks like it was spring green over this last couple weeks. So we also used lakefront twice. We hadn't used that one in a few weeks. So if you want to see all these colors, if you click on my temperature blanket playlist, I believe it's my first video I made about my temperature blanket. I show my haul, and I created a chart as well that will show you every color that I chose. So if you're wanting to see those up close, definitely go and check out those older videos. Just for the sake of time today, I'm not going to dig each one out and show them, but of course you'll see them in the blanket. So let's go ahead and get to that. So for this blanket, I am tracking daily temperatures. It is the moss stitch. I'm using a 5.5mm crochet hook. And all of the yarn is I love this yarn in the prints, so the variegated colors. So here is what it's looking like. It's just so colorful, and I have to show you the whole thing because each little section is completely different because of using variegated yarn. But let's see, over the last 2 weeks, let me count 14 rows. So I think this last 2 weeks is about this much here, this little few inches. So you can see right here that solid bluish color, that is the lakefront color that we hadn't used in a while. This blue and purple is the sunset, and then, or I'm sorry, this is the struggle is teal, that blue with the white, and then the peach and purple is the sunset color, and then this green here is either cinnamon cedar or spring green. They both have very similar greens in them. But if you can see, the moss stitch is such a nice stitch because it's so stretchy, but it's a very good and tightly woven fabric, so it's great for blankets. It's honestly perfect for blankets. Yeah, so very beautiful. So real quickly, the temperatures starting with Monday the 13th. The high, I'm doing the high, by the way, on this blanket, so the daily high. So Monday the 13th was 42 degrees, cinnamon cedar. Tuesday the 14th was 45, same color. Wednesday the 15th was 53, spring green. Thursday the 16th was 65 and sunset. Friday the 17th was 56, back to spring green. Saturday the 18th was 38 degrees, we used lakefront. Sunday the 19th was 39, and we used lakefront again. Monday the 20th was 52 degrees, we used spring green. Tuesday the 21st was 58, we used spring green again. Wednesday the 22nd was 56, so same color. Thursday the 23rd was 72, and the struggle is teal. Friday the 24th, 69, we used sunset. Saturday the 25th, 63, same color. Sunday the 26th was 70, same color. And then Monday the 27th was 60, and we used spring green. So, as you can see, typical spring Kentucky weather, back and forth, 40s, 50s, 60s, even into the 70s. It's nuts this time of year. So as I mentioned before, once we move closer to summer, our temperatures are pretty consistent over the summer. We usually stay for the highs in the 80s, into the 90s sometimes. Very rarely will we get over 100. It does happen, but usually it's the heat index, not the actual temperature, because it is so humid here, being in the Ohio Valley. And then there are, of course, those odd days, maybe where it's rainy all day and it's only in the 70s. But for the most part, we're about 80s and 90s for the high. But in the spring, it's nuts. Like, you never know what it's going to do. I mean, it could snow tomorrow. You never know. So, crazy temperatures. But all right, so that is it. I hope that all those temperatures weren't information overload. But I like to give you guys the temperatures so that you can kind of, put it together, what colors I'm using and how our weather is. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed seeing that. Let me know which blanket that you like the most. Do you like the sampler style blanket with less colors, or do you like the crazy, fun, colorful moss stitch blanket where I track daily temperatures? I cannot wait to see what they look like at the end of the year. They've been a lot of fun to work on, and even though I've gotten behind a couple times, I did time myself when I first started the blanket, and it only takes me about 5 minutes or so to do one row. So to catch up on a couple weeks worth of temperatures, it takes a couple hours, but that's really not that bad. So yeah, leave me a comment. Let me know how yours is coming along, or have you abandoned yours? Have you been keeping up with it, doing it daily? Have you kind of been doing it like me and choosing a day or two and working on all of it on that day? I would love to chat with you in the comments. And the verse I want to share with you guys today is Romans 5:8, and it says, "But God proves his own love for us in that while we were still sinners, Christ died for us." And isn't that just an amazingly comforting verse? We know that the Bible teaches, and our own conscious, is that the right word? Conscious? Yeah, I think so. Our own conscience tells us that we're sinners. I mean, we feel guilt. Even if you're not a believer, I know that everybody feels guilt at times. Where does that guilt come from? Well, I believe that we are born with that sense of, with some sense of right and wrong. Of course, there is exceptions, and kids have to learn and grow, but the human nature, we have that conscious within us. We have that. And so what a comforting thing to know that even though we're born sinners, we're born prone to stray from the one who created us, he still loved us. He still had a plan. Before he even created us, he knew this. Before he even created us, he had a plan of salvation for us. That he sent his son, Jesus, to die for us, even though he knew we would do wrong from the beginning. But he wanted to show us how much he loved us, and what a perfect display of love. I'm just so thankful for that, because I know I'm not perfect, never have been, never will be. But because of the blood of Jesus, I am made right with God. I can have a relationship with him. I can ask him for forgiveness. I can ask him to help guide my life, or not help, but to guide my life. And I can trust that even when I go through hard times, that I can rely on him and trust in him, that even if I go through hard things, which we all do, he will work it out for his glory and for my good, to be further sanctified, to become more like him. So I'm just really, really thankful that God loved us so much that he died for people who didn't even love him back yet. Like, wow. That is true love, in my opinion. Unconditional love. I mean, you think about it, like, it's kind of like, it's the love we have for our kids, because they do, at least my kids, I know most kids do things that bother us and frustrate us, and they go against the teachings that we try to instill in them, and it's frustrating, but we love them anyway. And it's such a perfect example of God's love. I mean, God's love is more perfect than we could ever love our own kids. So I know how much I love my kids, though, and how much we've been through, and how I still love them. And it comforts me to know that my Heavenly Father loves me even more than that. And I can rest secured. Even when I fail, I can reach out to him and know that he had a plan to save me from the beginning. And I just need to call on his name, ask for forgiveness, and move on and try to do better. So I hope that comforted you guys today as well, and I really hope that you have an amazing rest of your day. Don't forget to check back here in a day or two for that giveaway video. I cannot wait to just show you how much I appreciate you guys, and to give a big thanks to a couple people who made that possible. So I will see you guys very soon. May God bless you, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.